Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the birth chart for Rafa Nadal, professional tennis champion, arguable greatest of all time. First, I want to look at this moon north node in Aries. Now, it says here the moon is at 0 degrees, which we could interpret as it just finished up a cycle through Aries, and with the North Node in at 29 degrees Aries, we see that Aries being ruled by Mars and competition. This is a very strong point in his chart that shows him being a fierce competitor, a successful competitor with that Moon North Node. It shows that he's living a life of fruition, something that's coming to a head in this life when we see that North Node contacting a planet. And then we also see, with it being in Taurus and 0 degrees, kind of in between Taurus and Aries, it plays out kind of Gemini-like. So we often see this with Aries and Taurus there with that 0 degrees, that he's definitely coming into a lot of money in this life with that moon moving in, or at least the interest in money. In his case, he's coming into money. Ruler of his chart, here we have Pluto is rising. Pluto is rising and Scorpio is rising, and Pluto is there in the 12th. So from a soul level, his Pluto is in the 12th. We can see this guy's living a dream life. We think of Pisces, the 12th. He's known in the tennis world as being someone who's obsessed with tennis, obsessed with practice and playing tennis. You could say in his life he's pretty much been obsessed with tennis from a very, very young age, playing tennis pretty much every day. And we see Pluto is a planet of obsession. It's right there on his ascendant as well. Now, he is a Sun Gemini, and we often see this with tennis players, this Gemini aspect, uh, because tennis is a sport where you have to be really wired up and very mercurial, someone who's very active. It's a good sport for someone who can't sit still or has a time likes to move. And we see him being this sun, having this sun in Gemini, and it's in the eighth. He has Mercury in the eighth, and so more of these Plutonian Scorpio aspects in his chart. And the reason why that's important, we see here with also the Pluto is on the south, uh, is on the south node where he's coming from. And the reason why that's important is because I notice when I look at charts of tennis players, including myself, have that when they have a lot of Pluto aspects, they have that killer instinct, and a lot of tennis players lack the killer instinct, and they're very good players, and they do very well. But the ones that really have this killer instinct are, including all the other positive attributes about a tennis player, really do reach the top and do very well competitively. And we can see here he has Pluto, as I said, with the moon, the ascendant, Saturn. There's another fierce combination between Pluto and Saturn. I have a Pluto-Saturn conjunction. But the biggest one there is the Pluto ascendant and the Pluto on the south node. And this eighth house emphasis here. He also has Venus. This is a money guy. He's got a lot of money. Venus in the Cancer in the ninth, so makes money traveling from the family. He grew up. I mean, I'm not sure he was well off, but he lived in Mallorca, Spain. So this is not the worst place to live in the world, I'd imagine, Probably came, with his uncle Tony teaching tennis. I'd say this guy has good fortune when it comes to his family. We see that it's also making a trine to Jupiter in Pisces, and which is a very fortunate aspect. The Jupiter Venus. If you watch my videos, you'll see this come up very often. People have good fortune, and the Pisces emphasis with Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter rules Pisces, so this is a guy again living a dream life, traveling the world. I mean, Mallorca is definitely a Pisces type town, being near the water. He has Jupiter, Mars, great for ambition and expanding the competitive impulse. And Mars is in Capricorn. Mars, like where Mars is exalted. So very strong Mars. And notice Mars is there in the third. We see this often as well. It comes back to this Gemini aspect, and it's making a inconjunct or quincunx to Mercury there in Gemini. And with Mars in the third, this is a guy who's mentally energetic, very cerebral. That's one of the things people don't realize about Nadal, like from a very young age. Very cerebral. He's always been an all-court player. Always. If you go back and watch his videos, watch him playing. There's videos of him playing the U.S. Open at 15 or 16. There's one in particular I'm thinking of. It's on the grandstand. And watch him play. He's all over the place. Volleys, drop shots, etc. See if we can find anything else. I mean, you could even say here with that quincunx, or you could see there's a Mars Venus is in the gibbous phase, and then the quincunx between Mars and Mercury. It's a Virgo inconjunct, much more emphasis on Mercury and the idea of the analysis. Look, Nadal is one of the greatest analytical tennis players to play professional tennis, and this is another thing that's not mentioned. And I'm gonna I also have a tennis channel. I'm gonna get into that on my tennis channel. It's very much overlooked, and when Nadal first came out, this was taken it was overlooked, and his game style was taken advantage of for teaching purposes, and it has nothing. His game style has nothing to do with what's really going on. It's his mind. His mind is creating. His mind is fascinating when it comes to tennis. We see that with the Gemini as well, the Gemini Sun. The sixth house, the sixth house, North Node, Moon, very much emphasized here between the 12th, the Pisces, Virgo, 12th and the 6th. You even see the part of fortune in Virgo. It's got Saturn in the first. I mean, talk about a good placement for a tennis player. Saturn in the first. He doesn't shy away from the work. Very, very Saturnian in the sense that he's got a great work ethic, but it's retrograde too. So, and you can see Uranus there in his second house of values. So he does bring that Saturnian element, but he also is a genius, and he's forward thinking. He's interested in advanced concepts when it comes to tennis. You can see that in his game. Kind of blends the traditional with the. I mean, he was the guy that first came out that the racket, the bobolots, and the buggy whip forehand, and he really, if you watch his game, he really does blend traditional tennis with the advanced game, the modern game. So I'll leave it at that. Nadal, one of my favorite players, arguable greatest of all time. I could talk for hours about Nadal and tennis. So I hope this finds you well. Check out my other videos. I'll put some links down below. I got Roger Federer, Yannick Sinner, Grigor Dimitrov. Much more to come for tennis birth chart analysis from me, because I am a tennis guy. So check that out and have a great day.